Statement number 1. The Risen Emperor. Statement giver unknown mortician. Experienced December 22nd, 41 AD, Ancient Rome. Given January 24th, 1947. Recording by Edward Kane, the archivist. Statement begins. I was ordered by my employer, in the absence of any actual statements that have yet to come in, to look to the oddities of history to see if there were any tales that could satiate the emptiness of the archive. I supremely doubt many statements will come through, and if they do, that they will be of low quality and variability, which in both cases will lead to a very short employment here at the Oxford Institute of Paranormal Research. Nevertheless, while I hold the position of archivist, I will endeavor to record at least some instances of interest. I have selected this narrative due to the current date corresponding with the account. Are you at all familiar with the Roman Emperor Caligula, who ruled the empire from AD 37 to AD 41? There isn't much to know at all, as his reign was very short, but he was known as one of the cruelest and most sadistic rulers Rome had ever seen, even surpassing Nero at times. I will spare you the details of the utter savagery of the man, but what is important is that on January 24th, AD 41, the Senate had finally had their fill of the man and had him assassinated. I will note that this is where the verifiably historic aspects of this account end. I, through much research, have been able to uncover a first-hand account writing of an unnamed Roman mortician who claimed that there was much superstition surrounding Caligula's death. Cremation was very common in Rome at the time, but the mortician writes on how, as he was to prepare the Roman emperor's body for the process, he noticed several odd things. The body was clearly dead by 3 stab wounds, but there was no blood flow from the wounds, despite no evidence of them being clotted or patched. In fact, the emperor's tunic, which had not changed since his death, was white and entirely clean. The wounds had all been directed at the stomach, and apparently curiosity was able to get a hold on the man, as he wanted to look at the interior organs to see if they too were still intact. But there were none. The writing here becomes emphatic and desperate as the mortician describes fully disemboweling the emperor, but not finding any organs within. All he could find was a thick curdled blood-like substance and a heart that described as seeming far too large. The mortician at this point realized what he had done and quickly cleaned up the lumpy blood before finishing preparations for the funeral pyre that would be lit the following day. This is when the mortician makes some extreme claims about the recently departed ruler. The mortician was then walking home after that day through the mausoleum when he heard something from the room he had just left. He walked back to check to see if someone had come, but found the room empty. Completely empty. A ping of fear ran through the body of the man, as his first thought was that someone had stolen the emperor's body and he would be put to death for it. However, then another fear crept into the corner of his mind, as he heard quiet and gentle footsteps from the hall, gingerly with splats every so often. Shakily the man entered the hall and saw the trail of clumped blood leading outwards of the mausoleum. Statement ends. This is a very difficult statement to follow up for various reasons. We do not have the name of the man, and this letter was his last act as he was put to death for losing the body of the former emperor. What's interesting, however, is that he was not the only one who had claimed this emperor had risen. The Roman historian Flavius recounts how people claimed to see a man who, quote, looked like the grave, wandering the streets of Rome. And even more interesting still is that all of the people in the Senate that conspired to have Caligula killed were found dead of consumption not long after.